In the biblical story, there's a strange gap. Jesus, at age 12, displaying astonishing wisdom in the temple. The next time he appears, he's 30 years old, being baptized and beginning his ministry. 18 entire years, erased from history as if on purpose. This silence has puzzled believers, scholars, and historians for nearly 2,000 years. Some say he worked as a carpenter in Galilee. Some say he wandered the wilderness, communing with God. Others believe he traveled to the other side of the world, encountering ideas beyond his time. At the center of this legend stands a young Russian man from the late 19th century, Nicolas Notovitch. The journey begins. The year was 1887. The world still immersed in post-age of exploration curiosity. European powers competing for influence around Central Asia and the Himalayas. And Notovitch was a typical aristocratic young explorer. Well-educated, fluent in multiple languages, sharp writer, romantic and free-spirited. He didn't make travel plans, didn't write itineraries. He let fate guide his footsteps, and fate seemed to lead him toward a shocking discovery. That journey took him along trade routes, from Afghanistan to northern India, climbing toward the high plateau, preparing to cross the Karakoram back to Russia. In the Ladakh region, he visited an ancient monastery, Hemis Monastery. The monastery stood silent, snow mountain solemn, incense inside older than the wind outside. It was here an old Lama told him a story that left him stunned. Jesus of the West. He was a great Buddha. He came to the East, teaching people compassion and truth. We call him Issa. Notovitch froze. How was this possible? A Lama who spent his entire life in a Himalayan valley. Why would he know Jesus' life so well? And why call Jesus a Buddha? But the most shocking part was yet to come. The ancient manuscript. The Lama continued. After Jesus left Israel as a youth, he traveled along the Silk Road to India. He visited Brahmin scholars, studied Sanskrit texts. He learned yoga, meditation, and healing arts. He even traveled further north, practicing with monks on the high plateau. Notovitch was so shocked he almost forgot to breathe. Seeing his confusion, the Lama added, Issa's life is written in our ancient scrolls. The original is in Lhasa. What we keep here is a Tibetan copy. This sentence changed Notovitch's life forever and ignited all the global controversy about Jesus' lost 18 years. The next day, Notovitch couldn't wait to rush to Lhasa to find the original manuscript. But fate intervened once again. He fell from his horse on the mountain path, broke his leg, forced to stay at Hemis Monastery for treatment. During this immobile period, the Lamas began reading the Tibetan manuscript to him, and Notovitch recorded it word by word. The life of Saint Issa. The manuscript was called The Life of Saint Issa. Its contents described: Issa, Jesus, left home at 13, arrived in northwest India at 14, then studied Vedic texts in Puri and Varanasi. He opposed the rigid caste system, walking among the lowest people, because his ideas of equality angered the Brahmin class. He continued traveling north, eventually reaching Ladakh and Tibet. Years later, he returned to Israel, beginning the public ministry recorded in the Bible. In other words, Jesus lived, studied, and taught in the East for nearly 18 years. The controversy explodes. When this book was published, it shocked all of Europe. On one hand, it touched Christianity's most sensitive question. Was Jesus' power entirely divine? Or did it also involve learning, growth, contact with other cultures? On the other hand, almost all mainstream biblical scholars immediately opposed it. No evidence, no original manuscript, no historical basis. Some even traveled to Hemis Monastery to verify. But the monks denied everything. So the voice of Notovitch's fraud gradually prevailed. The official conclusion of European academia remains to this day a fabricated Oriental tale. The mystery deepens. However, things didn't end so simply. Scholars promoting Eastern thought, museum directors, Vedic masters came forward one after another, saying they too had heard stories of Issa in Himalayan monasteries. Some even claimed to have seen those Tibetan manuscripts. So what is the truth? If Notovitch lied, he deceived the entire world. If he didn't lie, we may have lost the most crucial journey of Jesus' life. What remains for the world is a mystery that cannot be verified, yet cannot be completely denied. The real question, looking back at Jesus' lost 18 years today, perhaps the question we should really ask is, why does this story fascinate so many people? Why do cultures around the world try to find Jesus' footprints in their own traditions? Why is Jesus' image, transcending geography and civilization, universally seen as a symbol of wisdom, compassion, light? Perhaps, rather than arguing whether the story is true or false, What matters more is, humanity has never stopped pursuing truth. Whether Jesus came to the East may never be confirmed, but the call for love, forgiveness, wisdom, and redemption between East and West has never ceased, and this may be worth more than a lost history.
May the grace of the Lord be with all God's people.
Amen.